it really is kind of an experience coming to visit the museum and seeing the artwork in person. So we're having an interesting time trying to replicate that digitally. We have made available a page on our website that is called the Virtual Museum page. You can go to that and scroll through several photos of pieces that are currently on exhibit at the museum. And then we also have some video content to our YouTube channel that's also actually embedded on that web page. So you can see that there as well.
But virtually, if you want to look on an optimistic note, that might be a really great way to really zoom in on some of the intricacies of Joe Downing's work, to do it virtually.
Yeah, and so like you said, part of the experience, and I think we really are an experience-based museum. So, it's being here, kind of seeing the art juxtaposed with the nature outside of the Arboretum. But like you said, yeah, with photos and kind of digitally, you can look at a painting in different ways. You can zoom in on certain parts of the painting and see some of the finer details of Downing's work, or you can zoom out and see it, from a bigger perspective. So it is a different way of seeing it, but it's almost gives you kind of a more chance to explore.
No, I definitely agree, especially with Joe Downing's work. He had so many little intricate things that were embedded, if you will, in his artwork, the spiders, the date of the end of the world. So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to learn more about Joe Downing's art, right?
That's
So
right.
what are you hearing? As we speak, we understand that the governor is slowly reopening the state of Kentucky. What are you hearing about reopening the Joe Downing Museum?
Well, fortunately, we have, been able to keep the Arboretum open. So we haven't closed the Arboretum at all. People are still welcome to come out as of now and walk around. We do ask that people social distance, even while outside. But we have been kind of in discussions looking at what the governor's recommending. I think we're going to be able to open the museum to the public again on June 1st. Regular hours. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 5. Now, we do ask that people bring a cloth face mask if they have one. If they don't, we will have some available, as well as hand sanitizer and, of course, places to dispose of things without having to come into contact with anything. And, of course, we're going to try to keep visitors to the museum at a minimum of 10. And, we ask that people, of course, while they're in the museum, they have plenty of space to move around, but we want to try to social distance inside as well.
And just take advantage of the wonderful resource that is the Joe Downing Museum. So you've been director for a couple of years now. Could you ever have imagined that you would have to deal with something like this pandemic?
Gosh, no. But it's interesting with a small museum. We always kind of say when we wear a lot of hats, there are only 2 employees here, so we do everything from janitorial work, accessory artwork. But no, I couldn't have imagined something like this could ever happen. Typically, when you think of museum disasters, like floods and fire, which we actually had one of those in 2013, and we're still recovering from that. So while disasters are terrible, we try to have things in place that we can deal with them pretty easily as they come to.
So this really would be a good time while people are at home, and it's a great learning experience for students who are having to be homeschooled to learn more about the artist that is Joe Downing, the Joe Downing Museum. Jack LeSieur, director of the Joe Downing Museum, thank you so much for joining us. You're watching Coffee Near Me, and we are socially distancing. We're coming to you via Zoom chat. I'm coming to you from my dining room. Jack, you're there at the museum, I think, by yourself. But you've been on the show before, and we've asked you this question before, but I'm just curious if things have changed. If you could sit down and have coffee with anyone living or dead, who would that be?
Well, I would have to say Joe Downing, of course. He is kind of the inspiration behind why I'm here. And so it would be neat to kind of get his thoughts on the times right now. Definitely. Probably something he never experienced.
No kidding, because he was such an artist, such a philosopher, such a poet. I'd be curious to hear what he had to say. Jack, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. You're watching Coffee Near Me. WKU PBS. I'm Barbara Deeb. Cheers. Cheers.